Okay, so today's demo we're gonna do a press mold. Okay, so press mold basically is you pressing the clay inside of the mold that you have. Okay, so basically anything that you think that you can actually use. I'm gonna grab this really quickly. So you can put this one right here. You can put it in a bowl that's called pressing it on top. Okay, so you're just pressing inside the container, and yeah, depends on how big that you want to use. And for example, that if you have a large popcorn bowl, you probably need more clay. But we're just gonna do a small one and right in here, so you can just find any container that you want to do. Now the problem is the clay has a lot of moisture in there, so therefore they'll stick on the surface. Okay, so you can actually put like layers of the plastic in there or whatever that you want to put it to prevent your wet clay stick on the surface. But I'm gonna use something called spam, not spam. What is it called? Pam spray. Spam spray eating. Pam spray. All right. So it's just kind of lightly coated on the surface. So I'm gonna take this. Okay, so I'm going to coat it on the surface just a little bit right here, so they can slide out easily without sticking on the surface. So again, these are the press mold. So I'm going to kind of cut it like this because there's an indentations, there's a depth to it. So if I just cut the size like this, probably going to be, when I push the clay in, probably going to be end up like this. So I'm going to cut a little more than what I need. And how much is a little more? No, we just have to cut it and we'll find out, right? Okay, so I'm going to take one of these, rip right in here. And then I think the clay is about, it's a little uneven, but that's okay. I can go back to kind of fix it a little bit. So the clay is about, I don't know, 1/4 inch thick here, but I think maybe inside's a little thicker, but that's okay. So I'm going to cut it just a little bigger than I need. That off. And remember, these you can always use it later. Okay, don't chuck away yet. Okay, so I'm gonna take this. So that looks pretty good. Yeah. So I'm gonna pick that in there and press it in there, and then maybe in the same time I'm gonna do the little demos of doing a drape mold. So here you go. This is a nice even right here. That's very good. So I'm gonna bring it a little closer. I'm gonna push it in. Okay, this time, yeah, looks not too bad. Yeah, okay. I'm in the right spot. Okay, so I'm gonna take this just a little bit. Because I use that to do a drape mold for you. Okay, so now I'm gonna take this, maybe just slightly damp that actually this is kind of nice too. You don't have to press all the way in. So here you go. So I'm gonna kind of use a wet damp sponge. Okay, kind of lightly, not too wet, okay? So I'm going to push the clay in. So if there's an uneven right there, you can actually kind of fix it. Oh, actually, it's not too bad. Actually went out just a little bit more. All those are overhang, I can kind of cut it later, okay? So because I can feel there's some thin spots, I'm going to push it down. So here we go. So here is a press mold, very easy. So this clay still is a plastic clay, but in here, what I would do is I kind of hang it over. So it's important that you know that your clay, don't make your clay go over like this, okay, and grabbing underneath. Because if you have your clay hanging over, then grabbing underneath right there, that means you're gonna cause the undercut. Okay, so when the clay shrinks in, it's gonna grab hold and it's gonna crack the rim. So make sure no undercut. Okay, no undercut. So again, undercut means you got a piece of a clay like this, okay, and then you fold it over, then you grab hold on the bottom right there. Okay, that means when the clay dry, they will shrink towards the inside, but here, because grab hold of the edge of the rim, therefore you're gonna have a problem of a cracking right here. So you don't want to grab underneath it right there. Okay, that's an important thing for the press mold. And I can wait just a little bit longer to trim out this if I want to. Okay, or I can trim out right now if I want to too. As well, I can kind of go around to cut it. So here we go. And again, I'm going to come back to fix it just a little bit. Maybe like trim them a little bit. Variations. Okay. This is pretty easy. They call press mold. Why? It's because you press the clay into the mold. So I'm gonna come back to fix it later, but right now it's still pretty wet. Here's a little thin right here. So I want to make sure there's no undercut, so they will dry in, and I can trim a little bit more. I like the flare, just a little bit too. But again, I'll make sure that define the line. I'm gonna push it around it. Okay, now because underneath have a PAM spray, so it's not gonna stick. And when they dry, they're gonna shrink towards the middle. Nothing gonna grab underneath. Okay, so this one is called, you guess it, it's called press mold. And what I would do right now, the next one that I would do is a drape mold. Okay, so the drape mold, basically the drape mold is same thing. Now you have one of these right here. So I'm going to take this on the side. We'll come back later to do the demo. Okay. Now the drape mold means you drape a piece of a clay on top. That's called drape mold. Yeah. So right here, you can actually use these kind of irregular shape and then add them together. But just make sure it's overlap, okay? Not butt joint. So I'm going to put a few right here. Just for fun. This is called drape mold, okay? Mean draping a piece of a clay in there, okay? So I'm gonna put it right there, maybe this side, here you go. So I can cut a huge piece and put it on top. And since I have a whole bunch of small pieces right here, I'm gonna try something that I don't usually do. But we'll see, maybe something fun will happen. Okay, so I'm gonna take this out. And then of course you can see I'm just kind of adding together without any slip. It's because this clay is still plenty wet, okay? So I don't really use a slip on top, so I'm gonna do this. And as a matter of fact, I'm gonna cut a few more since I'm having so much fun. I'm gonna a few slices, irregular shape, just because, kind of fun. Go around it. I don't know why, but here you go. Okay. So I'm gonna come back here. Maybe one more right here. Okay. I hope you can see it. Here you go. So that looks kind of decent. So this is called what? Drape mold, right? Drape it over. Drape it over. The things about the drape mold is if you drape too deep, okay, if you go down all the way, just make sure you don't let your clay dry on it inside on top of this drape mold, because when they shrink, they tend to grab the pots and then they tend to come up. So sometimes if you have a weak clay surface, they will crack from here. So again, drape mold, make sure you watch them. But the press mold, on the other hand, because when they shrink towards the middle, so you don't really have too much trouble, but still have some if you don't pay attention. You know, you don't want to walk away and then not pay attention with your clay. Okay, so you can see, maybe I'll add one more right there. Okay, I just dropped one of my. Alright, so now I was like, what the heck? You know what I didn't do though? Guys, you didn't even tell me. Oh my gosh. I make a huge mistake because I didn't spray. I should have sprayed. Now I press it down there, it's all gonna stick together. And then all my awesome demonstration is gonna be out the door. But what the heck? So what you do is you're gonna compress this. I should have sprayed. You're gonna compress this. So I want to blend them all together. Can you see it? Of course, the more I blend it, probably I'm having a hard time to take them out. So now that looks pretty cool. Okay. Hello. Alright. So now I'm gonna join them together. Okay. So this is gonna be my drape mold. However, I'm now having a hard time to take it out. So what I will do is I'm gonna use nothing I can fix it right now because it's way too late. Okay, it's horrible. It's horrible. But idea, you got my idea, right? So what I would do right now is I'm gonna continue to do this. Okay. So now I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna draw a little circle. To do a perfect circle, make sure your hand are steady. Okay. So I'm gonna cut it. Actually, gonna follow the line. I'm gonna cut it. You know what? I should have sprayed the. That's okay. It is what it is. Okay, you can see, kind of come out. See, it already kind of stuck, and that's pretty horrible. Okay, so make sure that you don't do that. What do you need to do? Don't do what I do. Okay, spray with what? Pam spray. Okay. Now I'm gonna let them dry a little bit. Okay, and hopefully they will stick. And they won't stick as much, so they will dry on the surface. But right now, I'm going to go ahead and then clean the edges just a little bit. I can always clean it later with the sponge. But now you notice I actually blend all the clay together. On the other side, you're supposed to see all the patterns on there. So it's pretty cool. All right. Now, if this is a dish, it's like, oh, this dish is not too... I mean, it's a flat dish, okay? So if you want to make it more like a dish, what you do is, yeah, I'm going to use this, okay? What I would do is I would do this, okay? I'm going to hand spin this. I'm going to draw a little circle. You see right there? That's my circle, okay? So on that circle, oh, it's a crooked circle. That's okay. I'm going to do that again, one more time. Do that. So I score, okay? Basically, what does a score means? That means you scrape the surface, and now I'm going to use a slip to put it on there. So what I want to do right here, I want to make a foot. So when they dry, I actually have a little foot that looks nice and cool, okay? So how do you make a foot? Coil. If you already know how to make a coil from your first project. So I'm going to make a coil. Make sure these are reusable clay. Make sure they all compress well, okay? So we'll do that here. Right here, I'm going to make it like that. Actually, I can flatten it out just a little bit. And maybe even flatten the taper just a little bit. Right here, I'm going to kind of taper just a little bit, okay? So now, I'm going to come back here. I'm going to make a little circle. And that's going to be my foot. Let me see, do I have enough? Right there. Ooh, I usually do. Is that foot a little too big? Maybe, but maybe I'll make it a little smaller. Alright, so I can decide. Now, I can roll just a little bit longer and make them a little thinner. And that's actually another way to make a handle. That's how you make the handle right here. Roll the coil, flatten it out. Alright, so I'm going to do it like this. I'm going to actually make it a little thinner this time. So I'm going to bring it over here. Okay. Maybe this foot is too big. We'll start over again. Okay, I don't think this works. This doesn't work either. But, alright, so I'm going to make it a little smaller. Smaller foot. Small dish, smaller foot. Yeah, maybe that would be good. That's better, that's better. Okay, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to mark it. Okay, right there. Alright, so this time I'm going to take my slip that I made. Okay, so I'm going to take a little slip right here. And then I'm going to use the brushes, okay, to load up my slip. stir it a little bit, okay? Make sure you stir it just a little bit more because I didn't quite stir them, okay? So again, I'm gonna take this. As a matter of fact, you know what? What I'll do right here is so when I do that, okay, so I load up. Some of us slip on my brushes already, so I'm gonna rotate it. I'm gonna feed my slip like that onto the surface. Okay, right there. Now this time I'm gonna try to score and slip on this side too. Okay. I'm gonna bring it right here. I'm gonna come around here. You can see there's a lot of overlap, right? Okay. So what I would do is I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna slant it, cut it slanted in almost 45-degree angle like that. You see? Okay. Now you take out this, and you push them together, and that's how you join. Of course, right here, what? Score and slip. Yes. Make sure you do that. Score and slip, and that looks fancy. So you got taper cut, and now we're gonna go back and to work it just a little bit more. Make sure they stay. This is gonna be a really tall foot. It's gonna be fun. Okay. Okay. Here you go. Come around. On the side, I'm kind of off a little bit, but that's okay. Here you go. So hopefully this will come out sooner or later. Okay, really kind of off. All right. So I will let them dry a little bit and then go back to fix it using wooden tools or using brushes, or like really kind of compress them. Okay, like that. Compress them. Make sure they are joined well. Okay. Another thing is maybe try to put some board on top to see if they level. Okay? And I'm going to kind of let them dry a little bit. It's going to be a tall feet. Kind of taper it out. I like it. Okay? And if you notice there's too much gap in them in between, just take a little coil. Baby coil. Okay? And wedge it in. And then make sure they stay. But right now, I don't think it's not too bad. So I'll fix them. I'll go back to fix them a little bit more. Connect them together. Okay? And maybe use a tool right now. Okay, so that's how you do a press mold with a feet. Yeah? So that would be the bowl. So can you do that as the same with the other one? Yes, absolutely. Okay, so I'm going to let them dry a little bit and hopefully it will come out. So what's my mistake? I didn't do the spray. Okay, so make sure you do the spray. So that's one of a drape mold. Now, so this is also a drape mold too. So what basically is that you can actually, because this is made out of ceramic, so they don't really absorb a lot, you know, they won't be like this with the shiny surface that will stuck the clay. So you actually, this is a good way to making a drape mold, because of course not everybody have a drape mold, so we'll do that. So I'm gonna actually do a drape mold, maybe the small one right in here. I'm gonna push it down. Let me see, this clay is slightly thick, so I'm gonna try to roll it just a little bit more. Take this right here. Okay, maybe just a little bit more. Use a rolling pin. If you don't have a rolling pin, use a kitchen pin too. Okay, if you don't have a kitchen rolling pin, use I already showed you before. Use anything that you think you can roll them. Okay. Okay. So do it again. once you do that, make sure you take your rib, okay? The rib we're talking about right in here. If you don't have that, remember, we're talking about credit card. Okay, so compress. Take this, compress. Now you can, on the surface right here, you can actually do some surface decorations in here and then drape it in there too. And I think we're talking about those print that you can do. Or I mean, at this case, I'm thinking maybe using a color slip. So I'm not gonna do that, okay? So I'm gonna put this right here. Again, same concept. Put it right in the middle. Okay, make sure, but this time I think this is slightly off because the cut not quite round. So I just have to make a, you know, a smaller. Oh, you know what? How about this? How about that? How about I take this to edit? Right here. So what if I see a little gap? It might be fun. Okay. There you go. So I get a little more overhang right here. I'm gonna blend this. Okay. Right here, I'm gonna cut it. So I'm gonna see. This one right here is a little gap. So I'm gonna fill it. Probably I don't need it. Alright, so I'm gonna try. I want to cut it. So I'm marking it, but I did notice. I want to make sure that I'll push it down. Okay. So again, same concept. I'm gonna cut it. And this time, because the Dremel that I have underneath is made out of ceramic and has been fired to the bisque, so they don't really was stuck in there, okay? And hopefully they don't stick very, you know, stick a lot, but I'm gonna go back and kind of, you know what I'm gonna do right here, I'm gonna actually purposely, okay, because I got this already, I'm gonna purposely cut a little bit more. Okay, I'm gonna take that. Okay, now I purposely cut it. I'm gonna take that and gently move it in just a little bit, so I get that little ledge looking underneath. I want to be a little kind of cool looking underneath. Okay, I'm gonna cut that off, and then it's okay for overlapping because I do want to show a little bit of underlapping. Okay, right there, not looking good. Okay. So then I can take one of these rollers and I can kind of roll it. And they fall off. Bring it up. Stay up. But it really depends on you. I think that looks really nice. Because the compressions, I don't think the clay is going anywhere or gonna crack. So make sure that you compress well, okay? But I don't have to compress that all my line kind of disappear. I can kind of purposely make it have a little raise up a little bit, so it might be cool. Yeah. So right there, and I'm gonna show the edges. Now can you see now underneath after I done underneath the other side, it's gonna have the line that kind of frame the rim, and it's gonna be cool. Yeah. And then I can also take again, one of these, maybe, let me see. So I can use this as a foot, maybe. Or I don't like this. I'm going to actually doing the same method that I have for the coil. So I'm going to roll the tiny bit coil in there again. Okay. So while I'm doing the coil, so I can see maybe, if I want a different variation, I can actually cut a few more times and then add them all together. Yeah, so that might be interesting. Okay, all right. So that's how you do a press mold and your drape mold. Okay, and now once I've done the press mold and drape mold, then I can take the mold and start doing either the carving decorations and or using a slip decorations. I can actually carve them and then fill in the slip inside a carving. Okay, so those will be calling, this is not quite, this is just decoration. I put it in and then take it off. Okay, or I can actually feed in a few colors, and maybe I can put it in and then do some Mishima techniques, right? So all variation, but that it's gonna be on the next video. So right now, press mold and drape mold, the different variations, and go make some press mold and drape mold pods. Yes? See you guys later.